So, Charlotte, tell us about the state of housing in the three territories.
Yes, Melissa. So starting off with Nunavut. Nunavut has a dire need for public housing. They need at least 3,000 units just to get even. That's roughly $2 billion. And with that territory, they have the youngest and fastest growing population, so the matter may get worse before it gets better. The shelter in Iqaluit is always over capacity, just very, very routine. Then moving over to the NWT, we had a lot of issues, I guess, around repairs in public housing, and the NWT Housing Corporation, rather, just released their fiscal budget, and they spent a lot of money, about $4 million roughly, up from the last year, and they spent that on private homeowner programs. Despite needing repairs, their budget for repairs decreased, even though we have a lot of issues, a lot of core housing issues here. Yukon is about the same. They have affordability issues, a lot of wait lists. They do have units that are being put up by the Housing Corporation. However, as soon as they're put up, they're already filled, and wait lists are already filled before units go up. That's kind of the state of things.
So why do you want to compare the housing that's across the north?
It seems timely. We have the Northern Affairs Minister coming up to Yellowknife and Whitehorse next week. And while all three territories are unique, we do share a lot of common issues with affordability, cost of living, the cost to actually build units up here. So Indigenous and non-Indigenous leaders will be looking at housing, from my understanding. That'll be kind of the #1 priority as the Northern Affairs Minister comes up.
Well, hopefully it's not a matter of just sitting around meeting and having these discussions and then nothing happens, which we see happen all the time. Hopefully there's some actual movement forward after these meetings happen. What can APTN expect to see from the series that you're doing?
So all three reporters in all three territories worked on this collaboratively. So I know with Yukon, our reporter Chris McIntyre ended up sitting down with a family who moved from Faro, Yukon into Whitehorse looking for housing after they had black mold in their unit, which caused some health concerns. They've been living with their 2 young children in a small hotel all month, and with no, I guess, end in sight for housing. So Chris is kind of taking that personal angle. For myself, I had the opportunity to sit down with the newly elected housing minister and kind of discuss whose jurisdiction it is for public housing, as a lot of Indigenous communities are looking to take back housing and kind of take over that role slowly. I also sat down with the NWT Housing Corporation to talk about their budget and why no new units were put up in 2019, and also look at where their money really is going to with programs and services. Does it make sense to be putting all this money into first-time home buyer, I guess, programs? And then finally with Kent Driscoll over in Nunavut, our VJ there, he ended up going to the men's shelter in Iqaluit and interviewed clients who do have jobs, however, they're still homeless. And then really looking at it from the core housing needs of people on the streets.
Well, you guys sound like you've covered a lot of ground. Can't wait to watch. Thanks for giving us a little heads up on what you guys have been working on.
Thanks, Melissa.